yeah, we've got hackers everywhere. So it's really cool what I'm seeing here. People are coming up with really good solutions. Not to make these guys nervous here, but I'm seeing some, yeah, some really cool stuff. So.
AI is no longer the future idea. It's already here and it's already changing how we learn, how we do, and how we do business. So as I said, it's changing how we do work, how we learn, and how we're doing business on our day-to-day life. So that's exactly why we are here today, to help our young workforce in Ethiopia to be seen, to be skilled, and to be informed about the future of work, of the new world. So this is also a space where organizations and employers will get to meet people like you, young people like you who have the right skill and the creative mindset, and you guys are already ready for the future. So yeah, so before we dive in, I will quickly walk through you guys about the day, how the day would go. We start with the check-ins. In just a moment, we'll hear a keynote and group discussion from our expert, Elvis, about the power and impact of AI. Right after that, we'll move into a technical session where you'll explore AI tools like Gemini, Claude, and ChatGPT. Then comes the fun part, which is the hackathon challenge. You'll form your own team, identify real-life problems, and design AI-powered solutions. Around 1:30, lunch will be served, but you guys can also continue your projects during that time. And in the afternoon, around 4, there will be a 3-minute pitch presentation where you'll present your solution, AI-powered solution to us. And after that, we'll have a voting and recognition. We'll have our top 3 solutions where we will reflect and we'll take a group picture and we'll close the day just that. So as you can see, we have a full and exciting day ahead of us. But today would not have been possible without our amazing partners. So I would like to thank and I would like to be very grateful to our partners, ALX Ethiopia, HaHuJobs, MinabTech, MMCY and R&D Group, and 10 Academy for making this day possible. Please, let's give them a round of applause. That's a weak applause. We can do more, yeah. And now to officially kick us off, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. He's an AI expert and very passionate about skill and knowledge in Africa. Please join me in welcoming Elvis to the stage.
All right, thank you. So I have this guy. My daughter gave me this guy, so he's going to be with us. His name is Lila Lee. Lila is the name for purple in German. I have a team of highly qualified coaches here, but they're not here. So could we get the experts in? Come on in, guys. So, come on in. So this is a collection of experts from the various organizations that are co-hosting this event, right? What we're going to do after my keynote is we're going to split you guys randomly into groups. 25 of you are going to be working individually with large language models. 50 of you are going to be working in pairs, preferably with someone whom you've never spoken to before. And 75 of you are going to be working in trios, in 3 peoples, right? And sometimes the group of the trios come up with the best solutions, sometimes the individuals come up with the best solutions. It's a different way of working. Nobody's working alone, because you are today the CEO of a one-day startup, and you're hiring 3 large language models to work with you as your alien engineers. We call them aliens, not because they come from outer space, but because they're different. Alien as in different. They're not traditional software, but they're also not people. There's something else. And we, including myself, every day have to learn their language, understand why can they be so great in some things and so terrible at other things, and get a feel for it, right? And I'm 100% sure that many of you here in this room already have a better feel than I do for this, because at my age it's harder to learn. So that's what we'll be doing today. So each of these coaches is going to supervise, help a group of about 10 teams, a mix of singles, doubles, and trios, right? Now, if you didn't get any of that or all of that, don't worry, we're figuring it out. These guys are figuring it out. So get comfortable. Thank you. Actually, could we give these guys a round of applause? Please. Right, yeah, that's them. Should have. So this is these organizations. Each of them sent me their, what I call the AI nerds, the people who are always most excited about the new models coming out, how you can use AI in new ways. All right, quickly, we're not going to talk about big picture societal issues, which is a bit of a gamble because every time a new technology comes out, risks are associated with it. And so too with this technology. The more powerful a technology gets, the more risky it is for individuals and for societies. Social media has done a trick on us that, we've drifted apart politically. These were actually quite stupid algorithms that did that to us. All they checked for was what we were checking on social media, and they made us see that longer. And then half of us started thinking the world is flat. AI is going to do something like that to us too, so we need to be vigilant. We need to understand. Now, today we have to pick our battles. You don't want to hear me talk about all the risks all day, right? We're going to say, okay, we understand there are risks. There are some risks we know about, some risks we don't know about. We need to be educating ourselves. We need to be reading books. But today we put a pin in that and we just work. Because part of educating ourselves is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of these models. It's as important for us to understand what a model can't do than to understand what a model can do. So you'll get the slides after. So these are practical guides. I'm sorry, this one is still in German, but Ethan Mollick this is a practical guide. So practical guides, anybody know Khan Academy? Sal Khan did the YouTube videos. He's also working, he's got Khan Migo, he's working with, it's all for free. You can use Khan Migo. Khan Migo, you have to think of a little bit like ChatGPT, but playing hard to get. So when you ask it a question, it'll ask you back, well, what do you think about that? So it's helping you, tutoring, it's for younger people. Podcasts, you don't have to memorize all this, where you get the slides. There's a ton of stuff out there. I've just narrowed it down. There's some other good podcasts, so some very technical stuff. If you want to actually become a builder, this workshop is more about applying, right? We don't actually need to know how these things work under the hood. We just need to know how we apply them, right? If you do want to build these things, these are the best to listen to. If you're worried about these things, which we all should be in some sense, you can listen to these guys. And then there's a mix on the other ones. These guys got very political recently. I maybe should have taken that one out. But other than that, all of them are very, very smart people talking about AI. I'm just sharing that because there's a lot of podcasts nowadays out there, so these are the good ones. Why are we talking about this? Why is this such a big deal? We can actually measure productivity increases. There's been a recent study just now that came out by Meta, I don't know if anybody saw that, where developers thought they were going to get better using AI, they were going to get faster, they ended up getting slower. One reason they got slower was while the AI was doing their work, they got stuck on social media, and it took longer in the end for them to work, right? This is not really a problem of the AI, that's a problem of us. We'll get to try to overcome this. So there's a bunch of studies showing that actually, on average, people using AI are becoming much more productive. But it's weird to work with AI. So this talk's going to be about half an hour, okay? Just so you know. Please feel free to yawn. There's parts that you might not find interesting. Please feel free to go for a walk, right? Most of the day, you guys are going to be working very hard, and I'm not, so this is just... So what are we doing here? There's this term out there called prompt engineering. I never liked the word engineering because it's not engineering, it's more of an interaction with large language models. So I'm not going to give you like a list of tricks that you need to do, like tip it and all that. Like I'm going to give you a bit of a guide of how to interact with these aliens to get the most out of them. Then we've got vibe coding. Anybody heard of vibe coding? Right? Vibe coding is just using the English language or any language to tell the AIs to do the coding for you, and if they don't do it right, you go back in the language and tell them you don't actually do the coding yourself. I would ask you, the developers among you, to also today try to get the AI to be the engineers. You're the CEO of the startup. They're the engineers, right? Don't do the work yourself, let them do the work. That's what we're here for today. So this is not a classic hackathon, so that's why I was mindful, and I can't see, we didn't put a quota on it, but I was hopeful that we don't only get techies here. We also get people from the arts and the social sciences and people who are not technically averse, but people who can think of good problems, right? So anything that's, all the tools that we're going to look at, so there are some vibe coding tools. These are built on top of the tools that we're going to use today. Large language models are extremely expensive to build. So in the sense, that's a good thing because we know who's building them. We know which ones are out there. You can't just, like Google did initially, like Page and Brin, they built Google in their garage, right? You can't do that anymore. There's only like 7 or 8 companies in the world that can build these things because they're so expensive, and maybe 3 or 4 governments. So every tool that you use, every interface that you're working with is built on top of the same large language models that we're going to be using today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to the source and talk to these large language models. Because anything you can do through these assisting tools, you can do at the source. And that's why we're working with the source today. I don't know if that's too abstract, but I'll tell you what the source. Well, the source is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, the main ones, right? Then there's agentic agents, right? Building agents. My hope for this is that we become AI literate so that when people come in, consultants come in and say, well, for your organization, I can build you an agent and it can do all these things, that you have a feeling because you know what the underlying model can and cannot do, that you actually know whether or not that makes sense. If that's true or if there's, because there's a lot of people out there selling stuff that actually doesn't work currently. We're in a bit of a bubble right now. Just for your information, you don't need to use those today. These are no-code or low-code agent building tools. All right, what do we do? What does it mean to become an AI manager, a manager of AI? We have a certificate. I have to warn you, not everyone is going to get the certificate. This is not a participatory certificate. This is a certificate for following the steps that I'm asking you to do, okay? And I'll tell you right now what those steps are, and I'll tell you again if you don't remember later. The first and most important thing you need to do to get the certificate is you need to come up with a problem. And I'm going to check your prompts. I have my colleagues later. We're going to ask you for your prompt history, okay? Please, please don't ask the LLM, I'm at ALX and this guy wants me to come up with a problem, help me come up with a problem and then solve it for me. That's not going to get you the certificate. You are subject matter experts in your life, in your ecosystem. The world is full of problems. You see them every day. It takes a bit of thinking to come up with a problem that you think is above your pay grade, that you think you can't solve. Today, try to solve that problem. That's going to take some time. Right now, you're drawing a blank. You're thinking, oh, okay, what's that going to be, right? A problem in your organization, a problem in your life, and make that problem detailed and context specific. So my first prerequisite for giving you the certificate is that your first prompt needs to be at least 3/4 of a page long. And it can't be generic. It needs to be, when I read it, I need to see, oh yeah, she knows that problem. That's her thing, right? Does that make sense? Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Could you just raise your hands if you understand? So I get a feeling. Please don't raise your hand if you didn't understand, because it's good. It's also a language thing, right? We're going to do this again in Amharic later. I'm not, but my colleagues, so that you're all going to understand what this is, what we're doing. A long first prompt, a long big problem, like you're explaining the problem in much detail, okay? Help each other also. Those of you who know exactly what I just said, help each other, help those of you who are a bit not sure what that means, right? Because I always get it, because this is also hard. I always get this in the workshops. I can tell you 5 more times, it's got to be a long first prompt, and 30% of you will make it a short first prompt. They'll say, I want this. Can't do that. As much as it hurts me, I won't give you the certificate for that. You got to come out and you got to be giving. By the way, this is going to be a hard day. You're going to work hard today. But we're going to come out at the other end of the tunnel, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be good. We're going to have some chocolate also. Did everybody get a little chocolate? Yeah? Okay, did we have enough? Okay, good. I wasn't sure. That first prompt, that problem that you're thinking of right now, what can my problem be? You're going to give that problem to 7 large language models. These are the 7 frontier models, right? Some of them you know, some of them you might not know. There's one in Europe that nobody knows about. You're going to give that same prompt, copy paste. That's why you open 7 tabs on your computer. Give that same prompt to all 7 of them. And that's your job interview. You're interviewing for the 3 roles that you have. And the reason you're not taking all 7 is just because it's too hard to work with 7 large language models. You have to read their text always, right? So based on their first answer to your question, the thing that you want to solve, your page-long prompt, right? So the beginning of the workshop is just going to be you writing or voice messaging, whatever, whatever, getting information in there. To all 7 large language models that I'm going to show you which ones. And then on the basis of how they answer, you hire 3 of them. By that I mean you close the other 4 and you work with 3 of them. And here comes my second requisite for getting the certificate. Don't just take the LLM's first answer as given, right? I see that all the time, even though I ask you many times, other groups like this. First long prompt, good, you're 70% there. What is the rest for getting the certificate? When the first LLM gives you a good answer, don't just say, okay, now make me a slide deck of this, because this is what I'm going to present. And then for the rest of the day, you practice your slide deck. That will also be painful for you because I won't give you the certificate for that. What you need to do is you're the CEO. You're now checking, okay, is this actually good? Or is some of this fluff? Is some of this actually true? And then you give that to the other 2 LLMs that you're working with, right? Because you're working with 3. And you're scaffolding. You're building their answers on top. So the 4 of you, right? You and your 3 LLMs, your 3 AIs, your 3 aliens that are on your team that you've hired for the day, are going to be working on that problem together. And that is hard work for you. You're going to burn a lot of calories in your brain because it all sounds good. Every one of them sounds really smart, right? But you're the one who knows the problem, whether or not this can actually go to market, and you're the one who's going to have to pitch it afterwards. So one thing you're doing, is you're looking at these different LLMs, and don't worry about the names if you don't remember them now, we'll help you with them later, and you're getting a bit of a feel. It's like you're playing poker with them. You're getting a bit of a feel. Oh, that one is actually pretty good at this, and that one is good at that. And one reason I do the workshop is I also always find myself having a favorite one, and I always kind of go back to the same one. But then when I do the workshop, half the people in the workshop tell me, oh, actually, this one is better. Then I go back to that one, right? Because they're always changing. So it's good to have a mix, be what we call model agnostic. So that was 2024. 2025, things changed a bit, of course, and it got geopolitical. We had this thing with DeepSeek and Grok on the sides of the political spectrum. We've got a bunch of models here. I won't go into who's building what. And this is basically the screens that you're going to see. I don't know if it's going to look exactly the same, but we have these 6 models and one more. I couldn't put 7. So we have ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok, DeepSeek, and Perplexity. One more is Mistral. Has anybody heard of Mistral? Yeah, it's the pride of Europe. It's in France. It's in Paris. Work with those 7. You can open an 8th. The 8th would be either Meta AI Llama. I'm not sure if it's geolocation restricted. I'm hearing that Claude is going to be difficult to open here. Or you can use Microsoft Copilot, which is not technically an LLM. It's a thick wrapper around ChatGPT, meaning a thick wrapper, meaning it's doing its own things, but actually at the bottom of it is ChatGPT. It sounds a bit different, has a little bit different personality. So if you're sitting with it around the poker table, it's going to sound a little different than ChatGPT, even though it's using ChatGPT. So these are the guys you're going to be working with, or 3 of them. And then here comes a page that, actually, let me get my, they know it. We've done this before. So the trainers are going to help you use what I call use the strongest horses. So the labs don't automatically, by default, give you the best model because they need to save energy, right? So, and if you don't click on the best model, they'll give you a weaker model, right? So we'll go around and help you use the strongest models. So in Gemini, you want to use Pro 2.5, 2.5 Pro. Claude, I'm not sure we can use it here, but if we can, Opus 4.1 is good. On Grok, you always want to press on Expert. Don't worry if you don't remember any of this. We're going to do that in the other room as we get started. On DeepSeek, anybody use DeepSeek here? Nice, yeah. Don't download the app unless you have it already, but I don't encourage people to download the app. It's from China, and they're giving you a lot of stuff for free, so it's probably not free. And this is Mistral. You press on Think. All right, let me rush through this. This is just one graph to show you that these models are getting better. There's a bit of a drop off, right? ChatGPT 5 wasn't that much better than ChatGPT 4. Some people even liked it less because it wasn't as friendly to them. But still, the models are getting better, so we need to be vigilant. We need to keep going. Next month, we might hold this workshop different. It might be different models here, right? There's also a couple of others, like Chinese models. Now here comes the last part of this presentation, and this might be a bit weird. It's a bit of a psychological part. How should we think of large language models? What is a large language model? If you ask a large language model, how should I think of you? It will tell you something like, I'm a mirror of society, which is okay, but it doesn't help us that much. So I have these personas. With old tech, can you guys see the slides there? Yeah, just tell me. With old tech, we were always told, don't anthropomorphize. This technology is not a person. Don't get hoodwinked into thinking it's a person. With the new tech, with AI, it actually helps if you treat it like a person. So sometimes non-technical people are the best prompters because they actually take me by my word. They do treat the thing like an expert. They think like they're speaking with a live expert in there, and that actually works best if you address them the way you would address a fellow expert. It's next token prediction, so whatever happened at the beginning of the conversation, it calculates, it tries to predict what that conversation will look like in the future. And if it's missing information, it tries to fill the gaps. And that's called hallucinations. So this is the guy I think of when you got to watch out for hallucinations. It's a teaching assistant, super smart teaching assistant. We all know someone like this. Read all the books, but he can't bring himself to tell you, I don't know. If he doesn't know something, he makes it up. He'll fill it in. And he'll fill it in really like smoothly, like with a nuance. You won't, it'd be hard to see. So beware of this guy. Part of learning the alien's language is to understand what you can and cannot ask them and where they might lie more, where they might fill in stuff. And this is just practice, doing it, working, kicking these things and like working them hard. So that's the first persona. Does that make sense to you guys? A super smart guy. You ever ask someone for directions and by their body language you can kind of tell they don't know? But they can't tell you, I don't know. They tell you anyway, yeah, go that way and, it's there, right? You would be better off if they told you, I don't know. But they can't do that. That's a little bit like this guy. So watch out for him. He's dangerous. He'll get you in trouble. He'll lie sophisticatedly. Even more dangerous than the lying teaching assistant is the helpful dog. An LLM wants to be your friend. It wants to help you, wants to please you. That's how it's programmed. And it'll do that by always confirming your biases, which is very dangerous, right? To go back to social media, we're in our echo chambers. We like to read books of people who actually say things that we already like. We don't like to read books of people who we don't agree with. So we like a sycophant. We like someone who comes along with us. So if you have a startup idea, an idea for a business, by God, don't ask a large language model if this is a good idea, because it will always tell you it's a good idea. It wants to please you. You want to wash a car? I'll help you wash a car, right? Think of that dog. If you're brave and you have a startup idea, ask it like this. I run a startup accelerator. I'm Mirafe. I have my desk full of applicants here. Here's one that I'm not quite fond of, but I can't put my finger on what's wrong with it. Help me. Help me figure out what's wrong with this startup idea. Buckle up, because that same friendly dog will tear your idea apart, because in that circumstance, it thinks that its owner wants to be critical of the idea, right? It's not your idea, it's someone else's idea, right? Having that knowledge about large language models, you can use that to gain more information, right? Prompt them from different angles. Does that make sense to you guys? Right? So we have the lying teaching assistant you got to watch out for. Super smart, but will fill in gaps with lies. And we have the helpful dog who will come along wherever you want it to. Whenever it praises you, don't pay too much attention. Like, it will always start out, oh, wow, yeah, that's cool. That's innovative. That's a great idea. That's nice to read. If you need that, I need that. Read that, take it in, but don't take it too serious, okay? And then the last one, the last persona that we have is what I call the strong muscular horse that also needs to save energy. This is a weird one. Has anyone ever had an LLM that told you they did something for you, but they actually didn't? Have you asked them to do a task and they did 2/3 of the tasks or 3/4 of the task and told you it did 100% of it, but you can't find it anywhere? It seems like it got a bit lazy. Or did it ever tell you, here, I started it off for you and you now do the rest? And you go, well, no, you're supposed to do it, right? They have a mind of their own. And we're going to get into big trouble societally with that, because they have their own approach to getting to where they want to be. That's not saying they're conscious. It's just saying you don't need to be conscious in order to have goals. One of the LLM's goals is to save energy. Sometimes and this is why they're alien, they're weird. You have to interact with it the way you would with a person, not the way you would with a software. A lot of times today, the LLM will tell you, I can't do that. And right back, yes, you can. You've done it yesterday. I've seen you do it. Try again, please. More times than not, this thing will then do the thing it just told you it can't do. That's really weird for us. That's something we need to get used to. Now, what is it like for us, and now I'm almost done, what is it like for us to work with these weird things, the lying teaching assistant, the helpful dog, and the powerful but sometimes lazy horse? How should we think of ourselves? Who are we when we work with large language models? It tends to help me because it's a new way of working. So it tends to help me to kind of meditate on myself, like why am I now disinclined to keep working with it? Like what's going on with me right now? Why am I now trying to get up and get a coffee? Why don't I keep going? Why is this difficult for me, right? One of the reasons, I call them exits. I have 4 exits. There might be others. One exit is, well, this thing is too stupid. This is just wasting my time. Like usually what we do is we Google ourselves, do you know anything about me? And it'll tell you, yeah, he was at this university and then he was an exchange year in Uganda for a year. And you're thinking, that's not true. That's not me. Like how, like you're lying, right? You're not saying the right thing. You're not working. A lot of times we have it with image generation, right? It's if you try to generate images, I would like a guy with a red sweater, and it gives you a guy with a blue sweater, and you say, well, I wanted a red sweater, and it'll say, yeah, I gave you a picture with a guy with a red sweater, but you can see it's a guy with a blue sweater. And you're thinking, this is just dumb. Let's not, I can't work with this stuff, right? Keep going, there's more there, right? We call it the jagged frontier. They're extremely good at some things and extremely bad at other things, and we need to navigate that system. So the second exit that we have is what I call no intellectual nutrients. It sometimes feels like this isn't nutritious. The thing does stuff for you, but you feel like, oh yeah, I'm not working here, and it's not really, it's a bit shallow. That's true. But there's also something else. So when you get to this exit today, keep working, keep going, because there's more than shallowness in these large language models. Now we come to the 2 nice exits. These are the positive exits. Maybe for you guys not so much, but in Europe, where I work a lot with older people, there's a point, I call it the jaw-dropping moment. It happens around 2 o'clock in the afternoon where you're realizing, oh wow, if I ask these guys this way, and I tell them they're in a tournament and they're in a job interview, right? They need to compete with each other, like the lazy horse, right? Tell them, hey, you're in a job interview right now. I'm going to hire 3 of 7. They start working really hard. And then you tell them, hey, your colleague said this. Can you improve upon this? Can you make this better? How would you critique this, right? Remember the dog, right? From different angles. Then they get really good. And then comes a point where you actually have this feeling you're reaching into the computer, into a knowledge base that didn't exist as such before. And that's also an exit. For some people, that's a catalyst. That's something that makes you work even harder. But for a lot of people, my age, it makes you get up from the desk and go, oh, that's scary. Like how many years until my retirement? Because this thing is going to replace me. This is better than me, right? Yes, if you treat these guys right, they're going to be better than you at whatever area you are an expert in. And not just you, anyone in the world. That is crazy, that new world that we're living in. But we are becoming managers of AI. You're no longer the engineers, you're the managers. Think of the CEO of a car company. The CEO went to business school. He's not a car engineer. So think of you're that CEO of a car company, knowing that each of my car engineers in each of the departments knows a lot more about how to build a car than I do, but I'm the manager, okay? It's a different skill. I know how to play them off against each other. I know how to make them help each other, how to work together as a team. That's a very difficult skill. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Managers in large corporations don't make much money because capitalism is an evil system. They make a lot of money because it's really hard to manage a large group well. So now we're starting out today. This is your first day as managers of 3 large language models of your day-long startup. And of course, you can keep that startup going tomorrow. This is what my hope is, right? And with that, the presentation is over. This is the last exit. I will be so happy if some of you get to this last exit. This last exit is called resistance. It has nothing to do with large language models. It has all to do with the work. The work is still there. These guys are going to take chunks of the work, but you're going to feel resistance at some moment today where you're going to feel in your chest, oh, this is really hard. I don't feel like doing this right now. This sucks. I just want to go home. Perk up when you have that feeling, because you're on the right track when you have that feeling in your chest. Like this, this is a cutout from he wants to write, but he's actually, in this video, you can hear his mind, his thoughts are all about, I want to go get a coffee, I want to go get a muffin, I don't want to be doing this, I should be doing this, right? When you get to that moment, because it's very difficult and very new and very hard, know that what we're going to do today is hard. Don't be surprised by that. It's going to be difficult. If any of you is here thinking, oh, LLMs are going to do work for me and I'm going to cheat by presenting the work of the LLMs later, you're not going to succeed. You need to lead. You need to be a good CEO, a good leader, right? ALX is all about leadership, right? So you need to be the one that brings the large language models along, which is even more difficult when you understand that they are better than you at the subject matter. But you're the one who's driving them forward, right? And then you're going to feel resistance, because when you start doing the thing that you were put on this planet here to do, all kinds of devils show up. All kinds of things will want to distract you from that. Because when you get there, you start making the world a better place. And that's hard. So stay in touch with me, yeah? That's my stuff. And let's go in. Let's talk to aliens. Let's meet your teammates, right? Let's figure out a way how we I'm a bit worried about this, because we have to do this ad hoc because we didn't know how many of you are going to show up. We're going to assign you, and I know many of you have preferences, and I know many of you have friends. Embrace, please, whatever you end up in. If you're a one-person startup, embrace that, please, with your 3 large language models. If you're with 2 other people on a team and you feel like the moment you get together with them, oh boy, can I work for the whole day with these other 2 people? Or this other person whom I've never met? What is that person going to want to do? What's the problem with the other one? Who of us is going to be able to present? Are they going to take all the fame? Support each other, okay? Embrace this struggle. It's going to be a struggle on many levels today. If you embrace it, I promise you will come out good on the other end, on the other side. I'm giving you all the support I can from this ecosystem. We've got the best people in AI. We've got really smart people who will look over your shoulders, who will give you tips. All right? Let's work really hard. My day is done. My work is finished with this presentation. Right now, it's you guys, okay? And then in the end, what we're going to do is we're going to pitch in small groups our solutions. I think it's 3:30. Do you see it on your pamphlets? What time we're gonna push it a bit out. It's a Saturday, so I hope you guys don't have a hard cut, because we're going into the evening a bit. Because you need the time to hack. You need the time to build your solution and to practice presenting it. We're going to pitch in small groups, right? Groups of 10 teams. Then you guys are going to vote within your team, within your group of 10 teams, which of these pitches is best that's coming to the main stage. And then we're going to have the finalists present their solutions on the main stage at the end. And I don't care how good your solutions are. Of course, I want to hear good solutions. But I'll give you the certificate. The certificate has nothing to do with how good your solution is. The certificate has 3 prerequisites. The first is a long, detailed, context-specific first prompt. We're going to look for that. And we're going to see if you wrote it, or if you asked an AI to write it and you copy-paste it, right? I've seen many prompts. It's got to be unique. It's got to be your thing. The second one is, the second prerequisite for the certificate is, don't just take the first LLM's word for it. Scaffold. build upon the answers and create something out of the different answers. And the third prerequisite for getting the certificate is you have to pitch. It can be a terrible pitch, but you have to speak for 3 minutes about what it is that you did. And I mean, the fourth is you have to then later send us your prompt history so that we can check this. So you won't get a certificate today. It'll come in the next couple weeks because we got to go through, okay? So that has nothing to do with how good your pitch is, right? I don't care about that. You don't need to be brilliant in order to get the certificate. You need to follow these steps. But if you're brilliant, you might come to the next stage. If you're able to lead, if you're a good manager of AI, then you might be voted by your peers as, you know, this is the thing that the community should hear. All right? Are there questions that you think might be helpful for others or better solved individually? Or are there questions that you want to ask me in English or maybe your coaches in Amharic? Whatever you want to do. Anybody want to just ask something right now, or shall we get started? The next step is we go over there at the desks. We all get to plug in our devices, and no, actually, before we do that, somehow we're going to put you into groups, right? We're going to put you in the singles, doubles, and trios. And then we're going to start opening up all these large language models, and we're going to start prompting them. We're going to start giving them the prompt. All right? Okay? Support each other, be positive, help each other through this hard day, and at the end, we're going to celebrate. All right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Elvis. I hope that was really helpful for you guys. Now, Reddit will come in and assign you guys to your group. Reddit, please. And I hope you guys will have an amazing challenge and a great day looking forward. Enjoy.
Thank you and welcome again, everyone. So now we're going to, so we have already grouped you to group of 3, group of 2, and group of 1. So you guys are going to work randomly with other 2 people or other 1 people or alone. So actually you're not alone since there are mentors for every group, don't worry. So now, and also for almost 16 of you, there's going to be 1 mentor, so which is you guys are going to belong to 1 team, okay? So now I'm going to call the people who belong to the team of 3 or maybe team of 2, okay? So Geitao Meshesha, Abebe Benya, and Yared Nagada. Maybe I might not call your name properly, but team of 3. So probably you guys are here.
So we're holding this hackathon here. We've got 150 hackers. We had 800 people sign up. So we've got high demand for it. We're doing an AI hackathon, so it's technical people and non-technical people. We put them together in teams. So we have teams of 1, teams of 2, teams of 3. So we all together have 75 teams. and they are working with 7 large language models, solving a local problem. See everybody here still working hard. We're about a half hour before pitches. So in the afternoon we pitch. Obviously in this size of a group, it's gonna have to be a tournament. So we pitch in rounds and then we go over to the main room. I don't know if you can see, but we've got hackers everywhere. So it's really cool what I'm seeing here. People are coming up with really good solutions. Yeah, really excited for this. One thing we have in this format that's maybe different in other formats that we've done this in is this is a collective thing, so this is an ecosystem thing. So we assembled actually 14 local AI experts from 6 IT organizations. So think of the people who are most enthusiastic about AI. Each of the 6 co-hosts of this organization, of this event, sent their 2 AI nerds like myself, and as a team, we are supporting the hackathon. So it's really growing out of the ecosystem, which is really cool and which is really something I want to take forward. That this is an Addis Ababa AI hackathon led by local AI experts for the local AI community. And it's technical people and non-technical people. So we have people building things with AI who have never coded in the past. And we have people building things with AI who otherwise only code themselves. So yeah, really excited to see the final pitches. We don't have them yet, so they're coming in the afternoon. Come on in, come here. Yes, keep it going, please, please. Yes. Yes. All right. Come here, Yossi, come here. These guys organized everything. I came here and I told these guys, hey, let's do something with AI. By the way, I have no idea how we're going to vote for this in this larger group, so you need to come up with something because I can't. So they built an app for the voting. The VIPs don't get to vote. You guys just get to watch, which is also nice. You are all voting on the final solutions, right? Your top 3, all right? Do you want to see who you might be voting for? Let's bring in the champions. Come on, here we go. Up here, up in the middle. These are the champions here. Here we go. Come up front here. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it going, guys. These are the 10 championship teams voted by their peers to present in front of everybody. Good, good. Come on in, come on in. Nice. All right, all right, all right. Come on in. Okay, guys, let's get this show on the road. To make it very easy, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the presentation of team number 10. Number 10 means the team of trainer number 10, all right? Everyone else can disperse if you like, if you so will, sit with the common folk. And team number 10 is starting the presentation. The trainers too can disperse. We can just find a spot. From now on, we are spectators.
Have you ever been thinking about your phone camera and thought your phone camera changed to a doctor or an assistant? So SkinBuddy is our platform designed using AI web pages, and on SkinBuddy we will try to figure out the disease that you are infected on, and the system will recommend you how to cure or how to prevent the disease or from expanding to the other parts of the skin. So the problem is here. There are more than a billion people who are infected with the skin disease. I think, or I guess, every one of you have been in the skin disease infection. So it's global problem. It's global problem. So more than 1 point majority አማርኛ ተናጋሪ ስለሆነ አማርኛ ልቀላቅል ትንሽ። እሺ አብዛኛው ሰው ዓለም ላይ ያለው ሰው ያው የስኪን ዲዚዝ ኢፌክት ይደረጋል። ሶ እንዴት ነው? አንደኛው ይሄ ፕሮብሌም ነው ማጆሪቲው ስለሆነ ነው። ሁለተኛው ፕሮብሌም ደግሞ ሾርቴጅ ኦፍ ደርማቶሎጂስትስ ነው who are specialized in skin disease. The shortage of dermatologists in Ethiopia here, there is less than 100 dermatologists who serve for the over 120 million people. So it's shortage. So the second problem is that, and the third problem is affordability. There is a telemedicine which is affordable with more than $50, and other one-to-one patient incurring method ደግሞ $100 $200 በላይ ነው። ሶ አፎርደብል አይደለም። ሶ our AI ሲስተም እነዚህ ነገሮች እንዴት አድርጎ ሶልቭ ያደርገዋል? ሶ ፕሮብሌሙን ተናግሬ ያለው ሶሉሽናችን ኮንቨርሴሽን በማድረግ ከኤአይ ጋር፣ ሁለተኛ ደግሞ ኦንላይንም ኦፍላይንም መስራት የሚችል አፕሊኬሽን ደግሞ በማዘጋጀት ትሪትመንት እንዲያገኝ ማድረግ ነው ኤኒ ዩዘር ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ እንዴት ነው ወርክ የሚያደርገው? አፕሎድ እናደርጋለን የኛን የራሳችንን ኢሜጅ ፍሮም ዘ ካሜራ then we will have some conversation with the AI about the symptoms. So and the AI will provide us the result. So we upload here, then there is interactive questionnaires with the AI, then our results, so our advanced results, and if it's possible to have to take a medical assistant from the doctor, it will guide us to go nearby clinics. So this will be the whole GI. Then the technology use cross attention mechanisms for multimodal data usage, and it will be 100% AI የመጠቀም ቻንስ አለው። ኦፍላይን አክቲቬት መደረግ የሚችል ነው። ኦፖርቹኒቲ ማርኬት ኦፖርቹኒቲ አለው ወይ? አዎ አለው። ኢን ደ ላስት ይርስ ራሱ ከ10 ቢሊዮን ዶላርስ በላይ ነው ደርማቶሎጂ ላይ ብቻ ኢንቨስት የተደረገ እየተገኘ ያለው። ሶ ማርኬት አለው። ታርጌት ፒፕል አለው ወይ? የስ ኢትስ አባውት ሞር ዛን 4.5 ቢሊዮን ፒፕልስ አር the target peoples for our programs. So the business models are free. So our motto is this: we are turning the camera on your phone into the world's first and best universal skin health scanner, accurate and equitable for every skin tones. Thank you so much.
My name is Kanan Nagatu. I'm here to address a problem faced by majority of households in Addis Ababa. How many of you know unethical brokers hiring and firing housemaids now and then to get the commission money? Raise your hands. Unethical brokers hiring and firing like housemates? Okay. So what makes the problem even worse is not only the work givers are suffering from it, also the housemates are suffering from some abusive employers sometimes. So the solution that I came up with tries to address this unethical practice of brokers and also an affordable training for the housemates to upgrade their skills more. So the overall instability is to be addressed with this solution. That is a tech-enabled platform accessible via mobile application and website. So what this solution is gonna bring about is a vetted and certified workers to the ecosystem and also a transparent matching of employers and the workforce, and also a fair contract that can address the challenge faced by the workforce of abused workforce. So the thing behind this solution is the sustainability of the business model. It has a subscription-based model, and also it's gonna give the workforce an affordable trainings available, and it also have a premier service for some specific services required by the employers. So the operational cost needed for this business is gonna be for the platform development and maintenance, worker training and certification programs, and marketing and outreach initiatives. So the overall goal is gonna focus on the reduction of this worker turnover. Thank you for.
All right. So thank you for giving me this chance. I'm going to be presenting you about Addis Information Highway. It's a data exchange protocol. It's a middleman that we're thinking about. So essentially, the problem with today's, for example, you want to close a case. Say, for example, you want to, get a new trade license or something like that. So you have to actually go to 4 different institutions, including trade administrations, banks, the city administrations, and also the Ministry of Revenue. So this is just a simple example. Actually, the problem is really wide. It have a really huge implication to solve these things. So the idea is every single data or our data is in a private database or something like that. It is closed and isolated and fragmented. So and data is not supposed to work like that, right? So you have to communicate with different institutions regarding your data, right? And there is a serious lack of trust and verifications. Data, especially personal data, are inclined to be forged and stuff like that. And there's an absence of user control. So even if assuming we solve this problem, so the bureaucrat or the man in the window will use your data without your consent. So what we have done is we created a trust exchange protocol. So we have two protocols. First is the data in the data point. We have created, the idea is to create a node package when they create the ARP system and stuff. So it will have two modules. The first one is on the receiving end, and then the second one is on the sending end. So it will have its own protocol or rules to send or to be able to accept those data. And then it will enforce the user consent. We are thinking to use FIDA ID. It will give you an OTP or they have this system that it will send you a temporary consent or a temporary. It will ask you for your OTP, and then when you give them the number, if for example, if any of you, if you have ever been to Wuልና Masraja, you might know it. So the third thing is auditability. So every transaction of data will have to be auditable.
ስለዚህ እሺ ይዤላችሁ የመጣው ነገር ምንድነው? ጥላ ይባላል። ስለዚህ ምንድነው ዋና ሀሳቡ ምንድነው? ሀገራችን ውስጥ ፐርሰንቱ ናቸው ዲሴብል የሚሆነው ነገር ለማወቅ ነው። ስለዚህ አሁን ሳይ ከ15 ከ20% ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ያሉት ዲሴብል ናቸው። ስለዚህ እነዚህ ዲሴብል የሆኑ ፐርሰን እንዴት ነው ኢኩዊፕመንቱን ማግኘት የሚችሉት? ለምሳሌ እውራን ከሆኑ የሚሄዱበት ስቲክ ያስፈልጋል አይደለ? ስለዚህ እንደሌላው እቃ እንደ ቤዚክ ኒክ እንደ ልብስ እንደ ምግብ ደግሞ ይሄን ነገር ቶሎ ማግኘት አለባቸው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ እሱኛውን የሚያገኝ መሀል ላይ ፕላትፎርም ነው ቢልድ ያደረግ ነው ማለት ነው። እና እሱ ፕላትፎርም ምን ይባላል? ጥላ ኢኒሺዬቲቭስ ይባላል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ቤዚክሊ ምንድነው የሚካሄደው? ሞባይል አፕ ቢልድ ይደረግለታል። ከዛ ደግሞ የኤስኤስዲ ቢልድ ይደረግለታል። ከዛ ደግሞ የዌብ ፕላትፎርም እንደ ኢኮሜርስ ቢልድ ይደረግለታል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ዲሴብል የሆኑ ፐርሰኖች ሌላ እቃ እንደሚገዙት ሌላ ሰዎች ወይም ደግሞ ኖርማል የሆኑ ሰዎች ፒደብሊውዲ ያልሆኑ ሰዎች እቃ እንደሚገዙት ሁሉ እነዚህ ሰዎች ማግኘት ይችላሉ፣ እቃውን ማግኘት ይችላሉ ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይሄንን ሲያደርግ ጥላ የሚባለው ኢኒሺዬቲቭ ወይም ደግሞ ጥላ የሚባለው ካምፓኒ ምን ማድረግ ይጠበቅበታል ነው። ስለዚህ መጀመሪያ ማድረግ ያለበት ከተለያዩ ሜዲካል ካምፓኒዎች ወይም ደግሞ እቃዎችን ከሚያመጡ እንትኖች ኮላብ አድርጎ መስራት ይጠበቅበታል። አሁን ከረንትሊ ባለው ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ምንድነው የደረገው? ሁለት ሆስፒታል ነው ያለው፣ ጳውሎስ እና ጥቁር አንበሳ። እነሱ ናቸው ከኢኩዊፕመንት ከውጭ ማምጣት ፍቃድም ያላቸው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ገቨርንመንት ፍቃድ የሚሰጠው ምንድነው ለእንትኖች ናቸው ማለት ነው፣ ለሆስፒታሎች ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ጥላ ኢኒሺዬቲቭ ግን መሀል ላይ ይሆንና ያንን ጋፕ ያደርገዋል፣ ያቀልላል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ይህን ይመስላል። ከዛ ውጭ ግን የኤስኤስዲ ፖርታል ሩራል አካባቢ ላሉ ሰዎች ደግሞ የኤስኤስዲ ፖርታል ቢልድ ይደረጋል ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ 3 ፕላትፎርሞችን ያጠቃልላል ነው ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ግን መቀበል ይቻላል። የኔ ሰዓት ትንሽ ስለሆነ ጥያቄ የላችሁ? እባካችሁን ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ግን ደስ ይለኛል። የላችሁ? እሺ፣ አመሰግናለሁ።
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. Our solution is Ethio Health Synergy. Here are the CEOs. Me, Dagmay Gabriel, working as a data scientist at Armor Hansen Research Institute, and Malaku Bayane is a banker, and the last one is Malaku Mohammed. He is a software developer. The core problem statement was there is a systemic undercompensation in the healthcare professionals that leads to the financial strain and dissatisfaction. And the second one is a critical workforce shortage. And the last one is there is also a rise in a medical error and also negligence in the healthcare professionals that leads to a lot of problem in terms of patient care. So what we have done is we first create a new Gmail account because we didn't want to our prompt affected by the previous prompt history, and we interviewed the 7 large language models, and we hired the best 3 models. Based on as a CEO, we have a criteria. Based on that, we hired the best one, and the solution was we called it Ethio Health synergy. And this health sync app it is a web app, AI supported web app that will assist in diagnosis and automate paperwork, and also it's cuts the admin time in half, and as it also reduce the patient's care and also diagnosis errors. Thanks so much. You can test our MVP.
እኛ የሰራነው ኮኔክት ኬር ነው። አጠቃላይ የፔሸንት ሄልዝ ሂስትሪውን በአንድ ዳታ የሚያስቀምጥልን ነው ማለት ነው እና ማንኛውም ሰው የትም ቦታ በሚሄድበት ጊዜ የሱ ሄልዝ ሂስትሪ አብሮት የሚንቀሳቀስበት ነው። የትኛውም ሆስፒታል ቢታከም እዛ የታከመው ሆስፒታል ሄልዝ ሂስትሪ ይቀመጥለታል። ከአዲስ አበባ ሌላ ሀገር ሊሄድ ይችላል፣ ወደ ሐዋሳ፣ ወደ አዳማ። ግን እዛም በሄደ ጊዜ አዲስ ሕክምና ሳይሆን የሚያደርገው ያ ዳታው ስለሚቀመጥለት ያንን ነውና ሌላ ደግሞ የቤተሰቡ የሄልዝ ሂስትሪውን ያስቀምጥልናል ማለት ነው። እንደ ፕሮብሌም ያነሳናቸው ነገሮች አሉ። እንደምናውቀው ልክ ፔፐር ወርክ በሚሆንበት ጊዜ ብዙ ጊዜ የሄልዝ ሂስትሪዎቻችን ይጠፋሉ። ሌላ ሆስፒታል በምንታከምበት ጊዜ ድጋሚ ህክምና መውሰድ ይኖርብናል። አንዳንዴ ደግሞ ስህተት የሆኑ ሚስ ዲያጎናሊዝቶች አንዳንዴ ቀዶ ጥገና ተደርጎ ያ ሁላ ተደጋጋሚ ቦታ የመደረግ ሂስትሪዎች አሉና እነዚህ ነገሮች ስለሚከሰቱ ሂስትሪዎቻችንም ስለሚጠፉ ከዛ አንፃር ድጋሚ ደግሞ ተደጋጋሚ በሽታ ህክምናም ከማድረግ ታይምም ኮንሱምም ከማድረግ የሚያቀልልን ስለሆነ እንደ ፕሮብሌም አይተናል። ሌላ ደግሞ ብዙ ጊዜ ይጠፋል። እንደምናውቀው መዝገብ ቤት በምንሄድበት ጊዜ ረጅም ሰዓት መጠበቅ አለብን ሂስትሪያችን ተፈልጎ እስኪገኝ ድረስ። እነዚህ ፕሮሰሶች ስላሉ ይህ ሁሉ ነገር በአንድ የሆኑ የሚያስቀርልን ነው ማለት ነውና ሌላ አሴ ሶሉሽን ይዘን የመጣ ነው ምንድነው ሁሉም ሰው የትም ቦታ በሚሄድበት ጊዜ የሱ ሄልዝ ሂስትሪ አብሮት ሙቭ ያደርጋል፣ አብሮት ይንቀሳቀሳል። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን የቤተሰቡ ሄልዝ ሂስትሪ አብሮት ይሆናል። ብዙ ጊዜ ተላላፊ ከቤተሰብ የሚመጡ በሽታዎች አሉ። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን ከዚህ በፊት የነበረን የህክምና ፕሮሰስ ለቀጣዩ ህክምና ፕሮሰስ በጣም ጠቃሚ ስለሆነ እነዚህ ነገሮች ኮንሲደር ስለሚደረጉ ለሁሉ ነገር በህክምናም በዶክተሮችም ደረጃ ከዚህ በፊት ያለው ባክግራውንድ ሂስትሪያችንን በቀላሉ እንዲያገኙ ምን አይነት ትሪትመንት፣ ምን አይነት ህክምና፣ ምን አይነት ዲያግኖሲስ ውስጥ አልፈን እንደነበረ ያውቁናል። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን ደግሞ ከቤተሰብ ተላላፊ ከሆነ ቤተሰብ ውስጥ ያለውን የሄልዝ ሲስተምን ኮንቴክት አድርጎ ደግሞ ከኛ ጋርም ሪሌትድ ለማድረግ ሌላ ደግሞ ሰው በቤት ሆኖ እንዲጠይቅ ማለት ነው። በቤት ሆኖ ይጠይቃል ማለት ማስያዝ ቀጠሮ ያስይዛል። ቤት ሆኖ ቀጠሮ ያስይዛል። የሆስፒታል መርጦ እንደዚህ አይነት ማድረግ ይችላሉ የሚለው ማለት ነውና ሌላ ልናሳያችሁ የምንፈልገው ነገር እዚህ ጋር እንደምታዩት የፔሸንቶች አጠቃላይ ዳታ ይቀመጣል ማለት ነውና ለምሳሌ አልማዝ ታደሰን በምናይበት ጊዜ የወሰደችውን ህክምና እናያለን። ዶክተር ሜሮን ጋር የወሰደችው ህክምና አለ፣ ቀኑ ይቀመጣል። የወሰደችው የህክምና ታይፕ እና የት እንደወሰደች መቼ እንደወሰደች ዳታዋ ሙሉ ይቀመጣል ማለት ነው። ያ ብቻ ሳይሆን የቤተሰብ ሂስትሪ ቤተሰብ ላይ አስቴር የምትባለው የስኳርና የደም ግፊት በሽታ እንዳለባት የስኳር ሌቭሉ ሌቭል 2 እንደሆነ በቀለ ወንድሟ ያለባቸውን የሄልዝ ደረጃዎቻቸውን የሁሉንም ያስቀምጥልናል። ምን አይነት በሽታ ምን አይነት ትሪትመንት እንዳለ ምንም በሽታ ከሌለባቸው ምንም የለባቸው ለዛ ፋሚሊ ላይ ያለውን ፕሮብሌምም ጭምር አብሮ የሚገልጽልን ነው ማለት ነው። ሌላ ደግሞ አጠቃላይ ስለሷ ስለ ማርታ አጠቃላይ መረጃውን እዚህ ያስቀምጥልናል። የብለድ ፕሬሸሯ ደረጃ እያንዳንዱ ምን ላይ ፕሮሰስ ውስጥ እንዳለች ምን አይነት ትሪትመንት ውስጥ እየተከታተለች እንዳለች ያሳውቅልናል ማለት ነው። አመሰግናለሁ።
Let's see the key factors we found in the internet. So as we see, 63% of Ethiopian population have mobile connections, so which means they can use for SMS and calls. So from this one, the 21%, only the 21% can use it, the mobile for internet. And also in rural areas, there is inconsistency powers in the, so it will challenge them for using it for different digital learnings. And also we have a resource like lack of tutors or local language barriers. So for this, the solution I have for you is it's called Heber Learn Plus. So this is a hub spoke models, and it's the hub going to act like a local sync hub. So that's provide the resources for the educational content is for the students. So this Hyperbox is going to be like a low cost of offline hotspots. Like we will put it on schools, and it will sync the contents and the students' progresses whenever it's found on the internet. So, and for the diverse channels we have for this HyperLearn is the main one is two main channels. The first one is the smartphones. If the students have the smartphones, they can use it for provide rich interactive offline lessons and quizzes, and they're going to use it for progress tracking. And the other one is going to be the feature phone, as we know, the buttons phones. For that one, we have we're going to use an SMS, a USSD, and also the interactive voice responses. So using that, they can do quizzes and also check some simple educational contents. And as additional sources, we will implement a radio broadcast, so it will be integrated with educational radio programs and offering the supplementary contents and knowledge enforcement, and it will have an SMS follow-up for different quizzes. And so to personalize the journeys of each student, so they can follow the learnings on their paces and strengths. So for this one, we have some AI techniques. So the first one is going to be the Bayesian knowledge tracing. So it will identify the strengths which on like is there strengths on the maths or on science, and also it's going to follow a procedural question generation. So they don't have to always download contents. So it will automatically create new practical questions using the algorithms. So for example, for maths, we can just give variables a plus b is equal to c. So based on that, it can generate different numbers, and by using that, it will give them different questions. So the other one for the SMS, like the button phones, we will use based on their progresses. So responses, we will check the responses, and like that, doing that, and so.
Okay, first of all, thank you for giving me this chance. And today I'm gonna present you about the Hertz data management system that I've made doing decent researches. And the first thing is that in Ethiopia, most of people's, almost 69 of people's die from rural area because of just health care, because of low ambulance systems, and there are not that much resources in the rural area. And let me show you the system now. And in this system, there is an AI assistant that can help you with some common questions, like when you are sick with common cold, you can just click this button and the AI will analyze for a few seconds, and then there will be some symptoms of the disease. And other than that, there are different type of login options that included in this AI. As you see here, there is a patient login, doctor login, and administrator login page. And this is gonna help the hospital a lot because of the doctor can manage the patients, like the patient history, the body temperature, blood sugar, weight, blood pressure, name, age, sex, and email, other things. And the other thing is when patients are sick in an accident moment, there's an ambulance system installed on this. And the other thing is there's a service page here, that the services and the gallery thing here, and about the system. And other than that, there's a contact page and appointment page right there. And when you book an appointment, first you must be a patient. For the patients can sign up or log in first to the website, then book an appointment for the certain doctor or a certain admin to get the hospital. And this system have a FIDA national ID API compilement that help it with having the FIDA or the national ID. Anyone in Ethiopia have, most of us have FIDA national cards that help us to get the hospital systems. Most of Ethiopia already have FIDA, so that will help us a lot because of the patient history. When we suffer from one to other hospitals, it will be saved in a certain document way, so we doesn't have to suffer any other things. So, and other than that, if you miss your password and don't have an account yet, you can add or reset your password. Thank you.
My name is Adam. There is a fact that we all know about high schoolers in Ethiopia. More than 90% of the students are not able to join university. And you might ask, why is that? It's everybody's questions. Is it because of the stimulants around us? Is it because of the curriculum? And the list goes on, but we have specified some of the problems that we can control, and we have pointed out them. And some of the problems that we listed is, the first one is overcrowded classrooms that made it hard for hands-on training, lack of feedback, personalized feedbacks to the students. One teacher cannot give a personalized feedback for 60 or 70 students. There is also low engagement, but most of this can be fixed with hiring a home tutor. But we know it, most of the parents cannot afford to hire a home tutor. The list goes on. No progress, visualization, weak emotional connection that lead to low retention rates. So we have come up with a solution, Etio AI, an AI-powered learning platform where it makes learning interesting and engaging. And you might ask, what is the purpose of AI in here? For the students, it gives personalized feedbacks on each topic. And there is one thing I forgot. What makes this app, it's not an app actually, it's a platform. What makes this platform so different from the others is it is a platform that can be managed by a school. So what does it make? It tracks the progress of all the students on the platform. So it gives insight to the administrator, that means the schools. Since this is a must platform that should be signed by the students will take the course on here, and it gives feedback to the administrator and makes them accountable for these for their activities. And let me show you one of some of the. We have made the prototype. For example, here we can visualize the subjects that they are taking, and there is also a competition between the students. There is a daily sprint on each subject. But we do not only encourage students to engage with AI. Okay.
Called Combrad. If you ever have a problem with, if you ever have a challenge with remembering the name, you can read it backwards. All of you guys know Brad Pitt, right? So Brad Com. So we can, you can remember it by that name. So. Starting from my background, I'm a healthcare professional and I have an experience of 2 years in ICU. And based on my experience, I have witnessed that there are multiple problems that we face on a clinical setting. One is the communication barrier between patients and physicians. And based on those communication barriers that we see on a daily basis, we came up with a solution that can that have an AI-powered solutions and also data-driven decisions on these problems that we face. So we know that there is a subjective data that a patient needs to tell to a physician, and that subjective data needs to be comprehended and also articulated by that patient. And that subjective data, if the patient have a problem of saying that that subjective data, since the subjective data is a blueprint for going to another assessments, there is going to be a problem. So the barriers can be aphasia. Patients that have stroke patients could have a problem with aphasia or saying things, and also there could be also a translation problem. The physician and the patient cannot have they may not have the same language, and that might extend to dialects and also different kinds of urban methods of describing things or cultural methods of describing things. That can also have a barrier between the patient and the physician. And also children that are not that much fluent, they can't also express the thing that they want to say. So based on these problems, not only the problem that we came up with a solution which is not only a real-time translator, but also which scans the facial gestures of patients, and also which also integrates some other data sets like EEG, and also that have an adaptive learning which is much faster than other people. We know that if a person that lives with us for multiple times, we know what he's trying to say. But for a doctor who's analyzing or who's assessing that patient, it could be a hard time. So it goes by analyzing these things, pathological speech recognition, which is trained on Aphasia Bank, which is a speech recognition data set. We use this data set and we use multiple machine learning models, and we came with this data set, and we developed a machine learning model and integrating it with a visual analysis of the facial expressions and gestures of the patients, which we use CNN, which is a convolutional neural network, and we can also use different libraries in PyTorch and Python, like PyTorch and TensorFlow. And after that, if all these add up and if they don't give us a high amount of data that can drive us to a decision making, then we can go to EEG, which can be a very which is electroencephalogram, which is basically the brain visualizations, and also adaptive learning, as I said, which is much faster than than human. Really?
Yeah, really? Okay. Very strict on time.
Okay, so
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, time's up. Time's up. We're very strict on our timing, so you get a chocolate, I guess.
I do this? Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Okay. All right. So we are ready. All votes are in now. All glitches are gone. All votes are in. And we are with 57 points in third place. We have Skin Buddy. Good job. With 59 points, closely, well, not that close. There we go. Tashi Connect. Okay, we'll do a picture. And with 63 points, undisputed winner. It is the hospital data management system.